The contract had been clear. One night of care, no questions, no attachments. Yet as Alara stood beside the nobleman's bed, watching the faint rise and fall of his chest, the simplicity of the bargain unraveled. Lord Alaric Vane was nothing like the rumors whispered through the lower city. There was no cruel arrogance in his half-open eyes, no indulgent luxury in the quiet chamber. Only a man worn thin by illness, his once commanding presence reduced to fragile stillness. Alara adjusted the lamp, careful not to wake him. She had been hired for her steadiness, the abbess had said, for her calm hands and gentle voice. The fortune offered was enough to rebuild the hospice where she'd learned to tend the sick. One night would change everything. That was what she told herself as she folded a cool cloth and laid it across his brow. When Alaric stirred, his lashes fluttered like startled wings. "You stayed," he murmured, surprise softening his voice. "Most do not. I was paid to," Alara replied, then winced at the sharpness. She softened it, "and because you needed someone." A ghost of a smile curved his lips. "Need is a dangerous word in my house." The hours crept by, measured in sips of water, quiet reassurances, and the slow rhythm of his breathing. Alara listened as he spoke, sometimes lucid, sometimes wandering, about the gardens he could no longer walk, the books he read to feel less confined, the way the world had narrowed to the view from his window. He asked nothing of her but to listen, and in that listening, something in her chest loosened. She had expected revulsion or pity. Instead, she found herself drawn to the way he thanked her for every small kindness, the way his hand trembled when he reached for the glass, trusting her to steady it. Fragility, she realized, was not weakness, it was a truth rarely allowed to breathe in halls like these. At midnight, the rain began to fall, tapping softly against the tall panes. Alaric's breathing grew labored, and Alara rose to fetch the physician. He caught her wrist, not tight, only urgent. "Please," he whispered, "stay." Just a moment. She stayed. They spoke then, not of illness or duty, but of choices. Alara told him of the hospice, of nights spent keeping vigil beside strangers who became precious by morning. Alaric told her of titles that felt like armor he could no longer wear. The air between them felt charged, not with desire, but with recognition, two souls meeting in a place stripped of pretense. When dawn edged the sky with pale light, Alara realized the night was nearly over. The contract would be fulfilled. The fortune would be paid. And yet, as she straightened the blanket and prepared to leave, Alaric's voice stopped her. "Alara," he said, clear now, steady. "If this were not bought, would you have stayed?" The question lingered, forbidden and fragile, as the first bell rang in the distance.